Everybody, it's Liz. How you doing? It is November 17th, 2023. I have been away doing lots of crazy fun things. I'm going to show you, I'm going to share a screen right now. I have two main things I want to put out. I hope you guys are doing super well. This is the cover of my book. I've been working on my book with some detail, and I got a publisher, and it's going to be coming out end of December, January timeframe, something like that. It's called The Light Within. I was going to call it something else, but I got assistance in correcting the title. It's basically understanding that you have so much light and consciousness and vibration and energy, and that's what you mostly are. And it's a small treatise, be no more than 80 pages, on how to manage your energy. So I've been working on that, and I'm going to be working on another book on the first quarter of next year on quantum healing, how to heal yourself by reintegrating personality parts and stuff like that. Anyway, I'll stop share and tell you some other intel I got. My intel I have is coming from my own downloads, some psychic friends of mine, from Kim Gogan, from Marina Jacoby. You can look Marina Jacoby up on YouTube and look her up if you want to figure out like what she's up to. But on November 15th, I'm going to call it November 15th, 2023, was our Freedom Day. It was our Freedom Day, and whether you believe this or not, I'm going to offer you some proofs to look for. And I don't usually put up psychic content. Like I said, you don't have to read cards to get downloads. Cards are a great bouncing off point, but you don't need it. After a certain point, you can just meditate or go into your third eye somehow. There's lots of ways to do that. Okay, so what I got and other people got is on Wednesday, we had a descending of 120,000, a legion of divine angels. 120,000 angels have come to the planet to clean it the F up. So what they've been doing is cleaning out the heads of all our corrupt global leadership, World Economic Foundation, well, mostly starting with the US first. So the Treasury Department, Langley, the three-letter agency areas, the White House, media companies. All the media has been run by 5 or 6 companies. They're going to the heads of all the media company and the boards and cleaning them out. If they're not going to play nice, we're moving to a restoration plan on the planet. And if they're not going to play nice, they're now leaving us. They're going away. And good people, and some of these angelic beings are actually going to be leading these companies. We're talking about drug companies, like I said, media companies that put out poisons for us and put poisons in our food. You know what I'm talking about. Financial things, financial instruments. There's going to be a change. Now, there's plenty of money backing what's going on. There's probably not going to be a financial collapse. What I'm here to tell you is there's probably going to be I'm trying to think here because this is off the cuff, not scripted. There's going to be an interim budget in the United States, and we're going to get to the leadership in a minute. It's starting in the States because the States right now is one of the countries that rules the world, right? If it happens in the States, it happens everywhere else. And also, you can't help small countries in Africa clean up the corrupt governmental leadership, et cetera, in those places until you clean up the drivers of the bus. In other words, UNESCO, the UN, NATO, World Economic Forum, WHO. We need to clean that up first, and then we can get to the smaller countries around the world. So everything's being cleaned up. I'm here to tell you. And we're going to have, in the United States, we might have an interim president who's alive. And there may be martial law. The military may be in charge for a little bit. I think it's unsure as of now. I'll post again if I find some new information out. Okay. So here's proofs. Okay. Here's some proofs you can look for. You don't have to believe Liz. I mean, first of all, if you muscle test or use a pendulum, you can test this for yourselves and see if you agree. I have. There's going to be a lot of deaths. We're going to be seeing some announcements of death announcements of people that people in the news, like politicians, et cetera. And that's all I'll say. We may have an interim president. You're going to see the media becoming more honest. And there's going to be announcements of changeovers and cleanups. There may be direct disclosure announcements, maybe not by the end of the year, but I would say at least through the first quarter and the middle of next year, we're going to be seeing lots of proofs of industries being cleaned up, financial institutions being cleaned up. All right. The government's not going to shut down. I think it's going to be supported because we're going to have clean leadership. Because you see, folks, what was going on was either we're heading toward a total financial collapse of world governments because they're all bankrupt. World governments and military and everything. I was really concerned about my guys and gals, what they're going to do, and all the people who are getting retirements and working for the government and stuff like that. And my buddies, people whom I love very much. And I was wondering about them and everybody else. So either we're going to have a total governmental collapse and almost like a Mad Max society, but not violent, moving toward well, if we have to take care of people who need food down the street, how are we as citizens going to do it if there's no WIC stamps anymore? How are we going to do passports? Are we going to use passports? Like, what happens if the government goes away and people stop going to work? And I mean, if you want to, I follow Cliff High. Cliffy High is really great. I give him like an 86% accuracy. I think he's a little more dark. I'm a little more positive, but I follow Cliff High as well. You can find him on the interwebs, interzones. We had a choice. It was either going to be total breakdown versus we had to decide what we want to do as a society, or we would have more corrupt government. Like, because every time, our tax dollars just go to grift, just go to third-party companies and things like that. Go to the airline industries and the drug industries, like those shots, guys. The thing that went in your arm, they weren't free. They were paid for by our tax dollars and everything. Drug research, so much money is given to drug companies by our governments, and but they keep the profits. They don't give profits back to the government where they got the initial funding research money, right? Anyway, so proofs. You're going to see the media being more honest and even coming out and be changing leadership, more honest reporting, more honest footage and photographs. You're going to see change in leadership at these places. You're going to see like less pushing of unhealthy drug systems, I'll just say, healing systems. You're going to see a reduction in stuffs being sprayed in the air. You're going to see a reduction in companies putting like glyphosate in our foods and poisoning our foods. You will also, so the media will probably be the fast thing that you'll start to see, the fastest thing you'll start to see. Also, you'll be, like I said, death announcements of people that that you might have thought are currently alive. And if you go back to my tarot channel, I've reported on this for a year and a half now, but people don't want to believe me. I'm just looking at my notes here. You might see changes in leadership, changes in Congress, and we're talking about here in the States, again, here first, but then the rest of the world. And also, you may actually see others. We may see others, people who are not from this planet originally, or people that have been here that aren't human that you haven't known about. You might begin, the veil is thinning, so you may be able to begin to see them. And if you go into your mental space, your mental screen of your third eye, or you just ask to see or talk with them, you might be in the airport or a bus station or a busy street, and you'll see them walking around, but they might not look quite human, So that's going to be kind of fun if you want to reach out. And you can also, I'm going to say, you can also talk to those divine angels. You can ask to talk to them. I have been talking to them. You might say, well, Liz is really off her rocker. And perhaps I am, but I just wanted to put it out here a couple of days later after November 15th, that like the world's being cleaned up. It's really seriously being cleaned up. You're now able to do what you love and make money. I'm not saying tomorrow, but if you want to go off and like do a metal work or carve wooden bears, or you want to make catteries, you want to make muffin tops for the bakeries, you want to do healing work and counseling and coaching work that I do, write books, you want to paint and sing and do music, you're going to have less interference by governmental systems. I do think the IRS is eventually going away, but not yet. Not financial advice. I'd still pay your taxes. But we're moving to cleaner financial systems, cleaner health systems, more openness to naturopathic doctors. Like I remember I had a doctor in the 90s who served myself and my small children with homeopathic remedies. And that's all we did for years. And then he died of mesothelial cancer. Now looking back, that was a reign of terror for naturopathic doctors. They were being killed off because they weren't pushing Western drugs. And hey, I'm not against Western drugs, especially for trauma situations, but for chronic stuff, psychosomatic stuff, I think it's much better to do other therapies. So I'm going to leave you with that. Put in the comments below what you think, if you think I'm full of it or if you see evidence of it. But I'm going to love you and leave you, and I'll try to post more often. And I'll let you know when my book comes out. Take care, everybody. Bye. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy holidays.